Who's had the greatest impact on you throughout your medical career?
So I've been thinking about this, and actually it's my father, who's not a doctor and not medical at all, but he really has been my most significant mentor throughout my career, because he is such a perceptive man and knows people so well. And that's, of course, what you really need in medicine. So he's always been my go-to person. However, as far as medicine's concerned and doctors are concerned, there have been a lot of significant people during the course of my career. I was thinking about this, and at medical school I didn't specifically have any kind of mentors, but the GP at the university GP was a woman called Dr. Sue O'Brien, and we all thought she was so wonderful and just wanted to be like her. And I've been thinking about her overnight. She must have only been 30 to 35. And every time any of us had to go to the doctor, we'd come back saying we want to be like her. So she was a great role model to have. Also during medical school, there were a couple of very significant conversations that I had with people when things weren't going well. The first was in third year, and that was when it was a 6-year undergraduate degree, where I decided I was going to chuck it in. So I rang the third year coordinator and told him I was going to chuck it in because it was all too hard. I wasn't good enough at it, and I wasn't going to do it anymore. And he said, "Oh, you're not too bad, Michelle. I don't think you should chuck it in." And that's basically all he said to me. And I didn't know him particularly well, but that just, one-liner made me go, "Oh, all right then." I'll carry on. So that was pretty pivotal. And another pivotal conversation was with the fourth year coordinator after I failed anatomy. And I was travelling in Europe, backpacking, found out I failed anatomy. That was very bad. And I cried a lot. I rang my father, who said, "This is your problem, Michelle, you have to sort it out," which was not wonderful. So then I rang the fourth year coordinator, who said, "Well, Michelle, I've just had dinner with the clinical coordinator from Charing Cross Hospital. If you can get yourself to London for this day, which happens to be the day of the SUP in Australia, you can resit the anatomy exam there." So I did, and passed. And that was pretty great. That the fourth year coordinator was able to sort of reinvent the world for me and just go over there. So I walked into an exam with about 300 students from Charing Cross Hospital. I don't know what exam they were doing, but I was doing my exam, and I passed it, and then I went to Amsterdam. So that was a pretty pivotal time as well. And look, on my list here there are lots of others, but one very pertinent one was Dr. John Horsley, and he was a GP here in Canberra and was also a supervisor when I was doing my GP training. And he was a very wonderful, wonderful doctor, and was being the operative word, because he committed suicide. And there are still things that I do today that I do because John said, "Do it this way." And that's what goes through my mind. And so when he committed suicide about 10 years ago, that was such a big shock for the Canberra medical community because he was held in such high regard. But in some ways, it sort of gave me permission to not be perfect, because I thought, if somebody as great as John unravels to such a terrible degree, then, you know, I'm all right just muddling along the way that I am. So even in his death, he was still a mentor to me. So they're the most significant ones. I've got a lot of others that I could refer to, but they're probably the most significant ones.
The question is, what could a medical student or a junior doctor do to go about finding a good mentor or developing that relationship with someone that they do know and work with already?
Well, I think the great thing about ANU is you're exposed to so many doctors. And because it's a small medical school, you get to kind of get a little bit of a glimpse of what they're like. It's not like they're just a lecturer and, you know, you're one of 500 people and you see them once in your 4 or 5 or 6 year degree. So you've got a big choice. And if they're involved in ANU, so if they're giving lectures, that automatically implies that they're interested in you because they're giving up their time. Like even if they're directly employed, they're still giving up their time. You make a lot more money in private practice than you do being an academic. And so I think you look around, you see who you like the look of, see, you know, listen to the things that they say in the lectures, the way they spin things, the stories that they tell about their caseloads, and you approach them. And I think you'll find that, you know, we, the old guard, always feel flattered to be approached by a student because, of course, that means you think we're good. So we think, oh, that's nice. So, you know, I think you just look around and see who you like the look of. I think the main thing is to seek and you will find. Yeah. People will say yes if you ask them. Don't stay hidden and frightened. Ask for things like to be, you know, given amazing dispensations like sitting an exam in London. We're not going to give that to you. But, yeah.
But ask anyway.
But ask.